into a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or on your knees, whichever you prefer. And take a moment to check in with your posture. Get yourself sitting up straight, so tilting the pelvis forward slightly, drawing the belly in and up, lifting the chest, rolling the shoulders down and back. And just rest your hands and close your eyes. Take a moment to arrive in your body, arrive in your practice, and just noticing anything that you're bringing with you today, any particular mood, any expectations, any desires maybe about what we're going to do. Perhaps there's a bit of a like, let's just get on with it and not do this centering business. If that's the case, just notice that. And then we do a quick body scan, so bringing your awareness down into the toes and the feet, and up through the legs, and just noticing any areas of tension or pain, any areas of ease. As you bring your awareness up through the legs to the pelvis, feeling the weight of the pelvis drawing down, and bringing the awareness up through your torso, to the shoulders and arms, and the wrists and hands, noticing the contact between the hands and the legs, and then bringing your awareness into the neck and head, noticing any tension that you're holding in the face, perhaps bringing a slight smile into the eyes to help relieve, let go of some of that tension. And then we take 3 deep, intentional breaths together. So as you inhale, breathing right down deep into the diaphragm, into the belly, really filling the lungs. And exhale, feel the pelvis dropping down even more. Inhale, breathing wide into the sides and the back of the rib cage, really filling up the lungs out to the side. And exhale, allowing the shoulders to drop down and back one more time. And inhale, rising up through the crown of the head, really taking up your full height here. And exhale, let it go. Let your day so far go and set an intention to be here, present with yourself, with our little online community for the next 20 minutes. I mean, not 20 minutes, 60 minutes. You can just do 20 minutes if you like. I mean, that's already a win, but hopefully we'll be here for the hour. All right, open your eyes. Interlace your hands in front of your body, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, push the palms away, tips of the thumbs are touching, little fingers crossed. Keep the belly drawing in and up as you inhale, and on the next exhale, move the arms in the shoulder sockets, lifting up overhead. And then once you get to the full stretch in the shoulders, make sure you're really stabilizing through the torso here, so really keeping that belly drawing in. Start to lift up, lengthening the sides of the body and using the arms. Squeeze the upper arms together, draw the wrists away from each other, so really, really active. Keep the breath flowing in and out, see if you can find any more lift, lengthening the whole torso here. And then slowly release the arms down. If you've got your legs crossed, release your legs. If you're kneeling, you can stay where you are. You need to release them, and then cross your legs the other way, so bring the other foot or shin in front, Again, find that nice upright seated position, tilting the pelvis forward slightly to maintain the lumbar curve, drawing the belly in and up, chest lifted, shoulders down and back. Just rest the hands a moment, feel the crown of the head rising up. And then interlace your hands the other way, so whichever way you habitually do it, switch your grip, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, push the palms away, tips of the thumbs are touching, little fingers across. Draw that belly tightly in and up and stabilize the whole torso before you move, taking another breath in, and on the exhale, slowly, mindfully moving in the shoulder sockets. And as you bring your arms higher, you should feel how the core muscles have to work harder to keep the ribs down and closed rather than going into a back bend. Keep the breath flowing, and once you've come to your maximum extent, lift and lengthen the whole torso using the arms. Feel that stretching sensation from the hips to the armpits to the wrists. Squeeze the upper arms in towards each other. Draw the wrists away, so really active through the arms, keeping the breath flowing. Lift up one more time, and then slowly release your arms down, release your hands, and release your legs. Let's come to standing. Okay, standing with your big toes together, start to bring the awareness down into the soles of the feet. Ground down through the heel of one foot, stretch the ball of the foot forward and spread the toes. And the same with the other foot, ground down through the heel, stretch the ball of the foot forward and spread the toes. Bring your body weight back slightly so that the hips are stacked over the heels. Engage the quadriceps, draw the belly in, lift the chest and roll the shoulders down and back. Extend your fingers down to the floor for Tadasana, the foundation of all the standing postures. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, extend the arms to the side of the room. See if you can find an equal stretch across the chest and the upper back. So not drawing the shoulders back too much, but really spreading the arms out to the side evenly. And turn the arms in the shoulder sockets. Really find the maximum rotation there that you can. And then lifting up, maintaining everything in the rest of the body. So body weight still back in the heels, kneecaps still lifted, belly still in and up, chest lifted, and then lift, lengthen those arms. Imagine you're hanging from the ceiling. How long would you be? Keep the breath flowing. Lift up one more time. And then bring the arms down. And release, hands on hips, bend the knees, step or hop to a wide stride. Begin with two heels in one line, outside edges of the feet parallel, body weight back, kneecaps lifted, belly in, chest lifted. And we go to the right, so turn the left foot in a little bit and the right foot out 90 degrees, fully rotating that leg. So when you look down, knee and toe are facing down the long edge of the mat. Four corners of the torso still facing the front. Lift the chest, outstretch the arms evenly like we just did in mountain pose. Mind in the back foot, push that heel down, engage the quadricep, really resist back with that foot as we inhale up and exhale, sitting down slowly towards the right. So as we sit down into these postures, how much can you keep this back leg active? How much can you resist back with that leg, trying to lift the inner arch, keeping this quadricep really working and engaged? And have a look down at your right leg. Check you can see your big toe past it, so don't let it fall in. Push the knee back away from me to have that real external rotation of the thigh, so you can sit down anymore. Keep the chest lifted and finally turn your head to look along your right arm. Fingers spread really wide, so we're engaged all the way along the arms to the fingers. Keeping the belly drawing in, drop the tailbone down a little bit, sit down a little bit more, back leg still active, check it hasn't gone to sleep already, keeping the breath flowing. And noticing as we stay here for a little while, perhaps you can find a little bit more depth as the body opens up and gets used to the position. And then bring your gaze to the front, straighten your front leg, turn the foot round, relax your arms a moment, check you've still got 2 heels in 1 line, body weight back over the heels. Let's go to the other side. So turn the right foot in, left foot out, fully rotating that leg to the side, torso still facing the front. Inhale out, stretch some arms, mind in the back foot, push the heel down, lift the inner arch, keep that quadricep lifted and really resist back as we sit down to the left. Have a look down and check that that knee's not falling in, so push it out to the side, torso directly above your hips, really keep that belly drawing in, chest lifted, and see if you can find that stretch across the chest and the upper back, all the way to the fingertips, so really spreading those fingers wide, and turning your head to look along your left arm. Keep the breath flowing. Take the mind again to the back foot, really push that heel down, lift the inner arch up. See if you can keep that quadricep lifted. And again, sitting down a little bit more as we remain in the posture, noticing any different sensations on one side or the other. And then bring your gaze to the front, straighten the leg, turn the foot round and step or hop your feet back to mountain pose, body weight back, lift the chest, roll the shoulders down and back and breathe. Okay, hands on hips, step or hop again, land like an elephant that time. 2 heels in 1 line, outside edges of the feet parallel, extended side angle pose, you know the kind of warm-up drill by now. Turning the right foot out all the way to the side, so check that you've got your inside edge of the foot parallel with the mat to enable that full rotation. Inhale, lift the chest, exhale, sit down until you get this nice 90-degree angle. Rest your elbow on your knee. Use the elbow to push the knee back, hand on hip, draw the belly in and start to rotate the torso up towards the ceiling. So this rotation is coming not so much from the lumbar spine, but from the thoracic spine. That's where most of the rotation happens. You don't actually want to twist too much from the pelvis. Push that back heel down, keep the quadricep lifted, drawing the belly in towards the spine, and take the top arm up and over, palm facing down, and again extend, find that stretch through the side of the body. You can keep your elbow there, or bring the fingertips gently to the floor, no weight through the fingertips, and then finally turn the head if you wish. Keep the breath flowing, sitting down a little bit more if you can. Turning the torso up towards the ceiling, and then bring the gaze to the front. Keep the legs where they are. Come up through warrior 2. Straighten your front leg and bring the hands to the hips. Back inside. Turn the right foot in and the left foot out. Fully rotate that leg, torso facing the front. Belly in and up, chest lifted, mind in the back leg, push the heel down, engage the quadricep. Inhale, lift up again, and exhale, sitting down to the left. So you notice when I sit down, my torso stays completely stable. So really isolate the movement in that leg. So notice if you sort of want to lean or like counterbalance, but really try and just find the movement in the leg. Everything else stays where it is, resisting back as much as possible. Elbow on the knee, use the elbow to push the knee back, draw the belly in, and start to turn up towards the ceiling. Take the top arm up and over and extend. And again, finding that rotation, drawing the belly towards the spine and turning the torso up towards the ceiling. You can bring that fingertips down to the outside edge of the foot. If you've got the fingertips down, push the knee into the elbow. Or if you've got your elbow on your knee, use your elbow to push the knee back. Again, mind in the back foot, heel down, quadricep lifted, belly in, gazing up to the ceiling if you wish. Finding that stretch down the sides of the body, really stretch away with the fingertips. And then gaze to front, keep the knee bent. Come up, find warrior two, and then straighten your leg, turn the feet round, and step or hop back to mountain pose. Body weight back, chest lifted, spread the toes, and breathe. Inhaling, lifting the chest, exhaling, extending the fingertips down to the floor. Okay, hands on hips. Come to a bit of a less wide stride this time for warrior one going into warrior three. We'll do them both together. So we're going to turn all the way to the side. So pick up the left toes, turn it in, pick up the left heel and turn it out momentarily. Find yourself in a very strange, goofy position, and then turn the right foot out all the way. Turning the hips fully now to the narrow edge of the mat. Squeeze your inner thighs together, and you're going to feel that that brings the left hip round more, so that eventually your two hips can be facing directly forward. And then really take the mind to the back leg, so push the heel down, engage this quadricep, and really keep that solid throughout this posture. So in this posture particularly, the knee wants to soften to help out the ankle flexibility, but really keep that resisting back throughout. So push that heel down and do not let it leave the floor as we go into the posture. Belly in and up, inhale, take the arms up above the head, palms facing in, and lengthening up, so finding that length just like we do in Tadasana at the beginning. Mind again to the back foot, push the heel down, keep the quadricep lifted, and then bend your front knee only so far as you can, keeping that back leg really, really engaged. See if you can find that inner thigh squeeze, so still trying to grip something between your inner thighs, even though they're not touching now, to bring that back hip round even more. The left glute should be really, really active, so squeezing the glute. And then if you want to take it into a back bend, lift the arms up one more, find length in the torso, before just drawing your fingertips back along the ceiling. So up before you go back, just finding a little bit of a bend in the upper back, in the thoracic spine. Keep the belly drawing in, see if you can bend your front knee any more. And then bring your upper body to a neutral position. We're going to go into warrior three. So start to lean forwards over your front leg, belly to spine, transferring the weight to the front leg. The back leg comes up, front leg straightens, and find your warrior three. If you have a wall or something handy that you want to hold on to, that's fine. Then you can focus more on the alignment of trying to turn that left hip down, trying to square the hips to the floor, straightening the back leg. See if you can bring your body down more and the back leg up more. Keep the breath flowing, gazing at a single point. And then we come out, so keep that gaze on a single point, bend your front leg, start to tilt back nice and slowly, landing the back foot. Find warrior one, straighten your front leg, turn that right foot round, and bring your arms down, hands on hips. Take a moment to breathe, body weight back over your heels, kneecaps lifted, lifting the chest, rolling the shoulders down and back. Let's go to the other side. So turn now the right toes in, then pick up the heel and turn the heel out, and then turn the left foot out all the way. I seem to be approaching the very edge of my mat, so I'm just going to scooch over a little bit. And then we're turning the hips to the front side, turning your hips to your front foot. There we go. Squeeze the inner thighs together and feel how that brings the back hip round, the right hip round. Activate that right glute, so push the tailbone down a little bit and push the heel back, really active with the right quadricep now. Draw the belly in and up. Inhale, take the arms up above the head. Extend, lift the torso, and then keep that back foot really planted as you bend your knee, your front knee, as much as you can without bending the back leg. Again, find a bit of that inner thigh squeeze to bring the back hip round. And if you want to take it into a back bend, lift the arms up again, find length in the torso, draw the fingers slowly back along the ceiling, find the back bend in your upper back, see if you can bend the front knee anymore, belly to spine. And then bring torso to neutral. Slowly start to lean the upper body over that front leg. Gaze at a single point, transfer the weight into your front leg. Back leg comes up. Again, feel free to grab hold of something if you need to. Trying to turn that right hip down to square the hips. Both legs straight, gazing at a single point. See if you can bring your upper body down more, back leg up more. Keeping the breath flowing, belly to spine. And then gazing at a single point, see how slowly you can land back in your warrior one, straighten the front leg, turn the feet round, arms down, and step or hop back to mountain pose, and breathe. Body weight back, chest lifted, roll the shoulders, and extend the fingertips down towards the floor. Okay, bend the knees and step or hop. That was a nice ankle click from me, I don't know if you've heard that. To a wide stride for a wide-legged forward bend. So as usual, setting up from the floor, push those heels down, engage the quadriceps, bring your hands to the hips and really draw the elbows back. Think of a long front body, so going even into a little bit of a back bend here to lengthen the front of your body, and then keeping that length, turning in the hip sockets, only coming so far forward as you can without rounding at all. So that might be down here. If you've got a lot of movement in the hips, it might be a lot higher up, but just finding a place where you know that you're not rounding through this lumbar spine area. And once you've found your position, again, push the heels down, lift the quadriceps up, lift the inner arches up, also lift the quadriceps up, always lift the quadriceps up. Draw the belly towards the spine. And you can interlace your hands behind your back and start to draw the arms away from the body. Opening across the chest here at the same time as we're opening the hips, belly in. Okay, release the hands and bring the fingertips to the floor, gaze forward. So however far down you are, keep your gaze forward so that you're encouraging yourself for the moment to remain in the back bend. If you can't reach the floor without rounding your back, you can walk the feet out a little bit more, and that's going to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. And then once you've found your position, again, take the mind to the legs, see if those heels are still pushing down and the quadriceps still lifting up. And this might be as far as you go, or if you've got a little bit more stretch to come, you can think again, lengthening forwards, drawing that lowest rib forwards, coming down onto flat hands, maybe starting to walk the hands backwards, but really trying to find the movement from the hips rather than just rounding the spine to get lower. Okay, and then everyone coming back onto the fingertips, draw the belly towards the spine, heel toe your feet in a little bit. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips, belly to the spine, and big inhale, coming up with a neutral spine. Therefore, hop your feet together, body weight back, chest lifted, and breathe, extending your fingertips. Okay, chair pose, step your feet to a hip distance, body weight back, belly in, chest lifted. Inhale the arms up overhead, extend, and then sit down, keeping your knees tracking directly above your ankles. See if you can draw the belly towards the spine a little bit more as you sit down more, and then lift the chest more. So this is a back bend. Body weight is back through the heels. See if you can shift that weight back a little bit more as you again sit down more, belly to spine, extend through the fingertips. Sit down one more time, and then standing all the way up. Release the arms and come back to mountain pose, body weight back, chest lifted. Again, we do the same thing but with feet together. Again, if you want to, so if this is too much for you and too much on your back, you can keep the hands on the hips and the elbows drawing back. Otherwise, extend up, body weight back over the heels, belly in, lift, and then exhale, sitting down. Again, keeping the body weight back in the heels, keeping the belly in, and finding that back bend, so lifting the chest up as you sit the hips down. Sit down a little bit more. And then slowly come back to standing. Release the arms. Take a moment in mountain pose, chest lifted, rolling the shoulders down and back. Okay, come to the top end of your mat if you're not already there. Two heels in one line, outside edges of the feet parallel. Inhale the arms up above the head, lift and lengthen, and exhale coming forwards. We'll hold it there in a half forward bend for a moment. My wall is a little bit too close, drawing the belly in, keeping the chest a little bit lifted here, and then bend your knees. Lay the stomach on thighs, chest on knees, relax the head down. And just take a moment here in this forward fold. So bending your knees as much as you need to get stomach to thighs, chest to knees. And relaxing the head. And so the reason that I teach a forward bend like this, obviously you can forward bend with your legs completely straight. But that means, especially if we have very tight hamstrings, that a lot of the bend is actually coming from the lower back. Whereas by bending the knees as much as you need to get the stomach and the thighs touching, it means that the spine is in a more neutral position. Obviously you are slightly rounded in this position, but it's in a more neutral position. And from there, we can isolate the stretch more into the backs of the legs, into the hamstrings. So from here, with the stomach on the thighs and the chest on the knees, keeping that contact, see if you can just lift the hips a tiny bit. And this is a tiny movement. So you're like kind of from here to maybe a centimeter up, just turning the tailbone up a little bit. You're not trying to straighten the legs completely. And you should feel that that takes the stretch right into the back of the legs without putting too much strain on the lower back. From here you can, if you like, take hold of the upper arms in either hands and use your hands to draw your upper body a little bit closer down towards the floor. And just switch your grip, so bring your other forearm in front, make sure that we're doing everything evenly here. And with the upper arms in each hand, draw your arms a little bit away from your shins and see how that feels, how that opens up the front of the body a little bit more. Okay, and then release your hands down to the floor, bending your knees as much as you need to get the hands flat. So that might be all the way down in a squat for you, that's fine. And then step your feet back to a plank position. Feet roughly hip distance, shoulders above your wrists, middle fingers pointing forwards, arms really pushing the floor away, so protracting the shoulders, drawing the belly towards the spine, glutes are squeezed, so we're not in this back bend here, but active through the glutes to keep the whole torso really nice and stable. See if you can draw the shoulders down away from the ears a bit. Quadriceps, as usual, are engaged, breath is flowing. Really pushing the floor away here. Okay, and then we're going to come into a side plank. So bring your, Bring your left hand to the center and roll over onto the side of your left foot. So you've got options here. You can either come to a kind of stacked plank like this. You can bring the top foot in front of the bottom foot to make it a little bit easier, or you can even bring that bottom knee down to take some weight off of the wrist and the core. Whichever position you're in, really drawing the belly in, making sure you've got some space for the neck and shoulder here, so really pushing down into that shoulder and keeping the belly to the spine, pushing the hips up, using these obliques to support the torso now. See if you can push your hips up a little bit more. And then we come back to center, so bring the right foot and the right hand down, hold it here for a second, and we'll just take a moment's rest. So knees to the floor, drop back to child's pose, forehead down, breathing into the sides of the body. Okay, and then we go again. So come back to your regular plank. I'm going to now be facing the wrong way, which will be a bit strange, but anyway. So step your right hand in, roll over onto the outside of the right foot. Again, if you need to bring that knee down and regress it, you can, or even just bring the front foot forward for a little bit of extra balance. And then belly in, hips up, breath flowing. Gazing at a single point is going to help with the balance. Shoulders away from the ears, hips up a little bit more. Keeping that belly drawing in towards the spine. And then rolling back to the front. Both hands down, both feet down. Find front plank for a moment. Push the floor away. Belly in, glutes engaged. And then drop the knees. Drop back to child's pose. And breathe here into the sides of the body. And then slowly roll up into kneeling position. And from here, we're going to do a little bit of core and wrist work. So if that just was a lot on your wrists, if anyone's wrists are hurting, then don't do this. Maybe get onto your back and do a dish or just rest. But we're going to take the hands to either side of the knees, drawing the belly in, and then the tops of the feet are going to stay on the floor, but ideally without much weight on, and then we're going to lift the rest of the body up. So I'm going to start the movement by drawing my belly towards my spine. I'm gazing just a little bit in front of my knees, about 20 centimeters in front of my knees, and then I'm going to lift everything up as high as I can, using my core and keeping the wrist pushing down. So the shoulders are going to come a little bit forwards of the wrist, and you're trying to lift everything up. Some of you so what we're not trying to do, by the way, is just get the legs off the floor. You're really trying to get your hips up as high as possible and go as light as on your toes as you can. But even keeping them down, you should feel a lot of work in the core. So hopefully you guys are trying this with me, but I just want, it's hard to hold for a long time, so we'll just try it a few more times together if you haven't already. So planting the hands, belly to spine, and lifting the hips all the way up, holding for a few seconds, and then releasing down, perhaps counter stretching the wrists gently in between, so don't take them all the way, or maybe you just want to roll them out. Each time you plant your hands, be really intentional, spread the fingers, belly in, and lift. And then lower, releasing the hands off. You guys are probably all doing this on your own time, but let's do one more really good one. So see if you can hold it perhaps for a little bit longer. Belly to spine, and lift. Push the hands down, belly in, and slowly release down. Okay, and just roll your wrists out. Gently go into a counter stretch, so don't put all your weight on your wrists like this, but just a little bit of taking them in the other direction. Okay, and then plant your hands and come to a good tabletop position, so checking that your shoulders are above your wrists. That was one of those moments where all the body parts just went from my mind. And knees under the hips, drawing the belly in towards the spine. And we'll do a little bit of stabilization work here. So keeping your torso really, really stable. So start by drawing the belly in, pushing the floor away. You're going to lift up your right arm and your left knee in line with the torso. Keep the belly drawing in. And this is not going to be great for me, but hopefully you guys have more space than I do. You're going to bring, without anything else moving, so keeping the torso stable, start to bring the right arm out to the side and the left leg out to the side. I can't really do it because there's a wall in my way. But anyway, keeping the breath going, and then bring those back to center with control. Bring them down, belly in. Stabilize the torso, see if you can keep everything completely still as you lift up left arm and right leg, and then move them out to the side. So if you can really take that leg out to the side, if you have space like I do on this side, you're going to feel that working the glute there. And then bring them back to the neutral, hands down. Tuck your toes and we'll go into a downward dog. Spread the fingers nice and wide, drop the hips back to the heels. Really active through the arms here before we go anywhere. So just in this kind of crouched position, how much can you push your hands to get your hips closer to your heels? So really, really pushing the body back as much as possible. Relax the head between the arms, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, without letting the upper body move, turn in the hip sockets and lift up into your downward dog. Again, active through the arms, see if you can push the body weight out of the hands in towards the feet. Bend your knees, turn the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then perhaps straightening the legs a little bit more. And then step the feet together. Lift your right leg straight up into a split dog. Trying as much as possible to keep that right hip square down towards the floor. Still active through the arms. And then we're going to inhale, stretch those toes away, and exhale, right knee towards the right elbow. Inhale, back up to split dog. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, back to split dog. Exhale to the right elbow. And keep doing this a few more times. Inhaling up. Exhaling across the body to the left elbow. Inhaling, exhaling to the right elbow. Really drawing the belly towards the spine and pulling and pushing the floor away as you come forward into these plank positions. Okay, last one. Inhaling that foot up and exhaling, bring the foot down to back to your down dog. Drop the knees, rest in child's pose just for a moment. You can bring your arms back to the sides of the body to relax the shoulders if you like. And breathe into the back. Okay, hands forward. Let's do the other side. So setting up again nicely for the downward dog. So spread the fingers, push the base of the first knuckle down, tuck your toes, drop the hips back, active through the arms, push really hard, push the body weight back towards the heels before you've even lifted your hips up. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, turning in the hip sockets, coming up to your downward dog position. Step the toes together if you haven't already, and then take the left leg up, trying to keep that left hip still facing down towards the ground. So squaring the hips, active through the hands, extending that top toe up and back. And then inhale, stretch that toe away even more. Exhale, left knee to left elbow, push the floor away. Inhaling up to split dog. Exhaling, left knee to right elbow. Push the floor away, belly in. Inhaling up. Exhaling to the right side. Inhaling up. Exhale. No, wait. I did that wrong. You know what I mean. Hopefully you're just doing this on your own time anyway. Okay. And every time you come forwards into your plank position, really strong through the shoulders, pushing the floor away. So finishing on that cross body, one, coming back to your split dog, drop the foot back down, and come to rest in child's pose. Relax the arms by the side of the body, or stack your hands if you need to bring the floor up a little bit. And breathe into the back. Okay. Again, come to your all fours position one more time. Into downward dog, tuck the toes, push the hips back, take a breath in, and lift the hips up. Big toes together, inhale the right leg up into split dog, and exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Take a couple of steps if you need to. Come up into a long lunge for a moment, or drop the back knee straight away if you wish. And see if you can find, again, that squeeze on the inner thighs, really active through the back leg. So if you're up in a high lunge, the back leg should be straight. So pushing the thigh back, draw the belly in, take the arms up overhead and lengthen. And then coming forwards over the front leg, fingertips to the floor. Everyone now drop the back knee and untuck the toes and come up again to this kneeling lunge position. And we're going to go into a bit of a twist here. So starting the twist, we're going to be twisting towards the front leg, towards the right leg. So you're going to start by drawing the belly in towards the spine, and you don't actually want that much movement to come from the lower back. So allow me a small little anatomy thing here. So the lower back attaches to the pelvis with the sacroiliac joint, which doesn't really want to be moved from side to side. That means that the lumbar spine is, you actually want more stability here in the twist, whereas the upper back, the thoracic spine, if you look at the vertebrae, their prime function is for twisting. So we're thinking about building stability here and mobility here in this thing. Okay, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Left hand to the front of the right knee, open the right arm out to the side, and if you wish, you can take your gaze to that side as well. See if you can still find that squeeze of the inner thighs together, belly still in, opening that arm back a little bit more. And then we're going to come back to the front. Place the hands either side of the foot, tuck your back toes, push that knee up and back so that you are in a good strong lunge. Lift the right leg up to your split dog, bring that foot down, we go straight to the other side. So left leg up now, pushing the body weight back, away from the hands. Inhale, stretch the toes away. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands, coming up either to a long lunge or dropping that knee straight away if you wish. Squeeze the inner thighs together, really push the back heel back and keep your quadricep working. Inhale, take the arms up above the head, extend, lengthen, see if you can sit down a little bit more into that lunge. Slowly with control, start to tip body forwards over the front leg, hands to the floor, drop the right knee, untuck the toes, and come to this kneeling lunge position. Again, squeeze the inner thighs together, bringing that right hip round now. And then we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, draw the belly in, the stability through the thoracic, and then open the chest out to the left, using that left arm to draw your left shoulder back. And if you wish, you can bring your gaze to look towards that hand. Keep the belly drawing in. Keep that squeeze of the inner thighs. See if you can drop your shoulders down away from your ears. And then slowly with control, come back to center. Hands to the floor, tuck the right toes, push the heel back, lift that knee up. Find a straight back leg there, and then coming up into your split dog. Bring the left foot down, drop the knees. We'll go knees wide, toes together this time. And relax here. You can either completely relax, just allowing the arms and the forehead to sink into the floor, or you can make it a little bit active, stretching the fingers forward, creeping the fingers forward, stretching the torso. And of course, resisting back with the hips if you're doing this, so the hips stay firmly planted as your fingers go forward, stretching out the lats on the side of the back. And then drawing the belly in, coming back to a kneeling position. We'll just finish with a Baddha Konasana twist. If you've got something to sit on, I highly recommend it, even if you think that your Baddha Konasana is banging and you don't need it. It's just so much easier in this externally rotated position to find a little bit of that forwards tilt of the pelvis, and therefore maintaining the healthy lumbar spine. And then to make this more or less intense, more intense, the feet closer to the body, less intense, have the feet further away. But see if you can find a position where your lower back is not tilting out, so you're keeping that slight forwards pelvic tilt. And then bringing the soles of the feet together, lift the chest, so you're holding onto the ankles here, lift up out of your waist, keeping the front body long. And then we're going to take this into a twist as well. So bring your right hand to your left leg, and then this is also not going to work for me. I have to bend. You guys can keep your arms straight if you've got space behind you. If you don't, like me, bring your hand to a cactus arm, and then use that arm, use that elbow or the hand to twist out to the left. Keep the belly in. Bring the gaze to follow the hand if you wish. Drawing both shoulders back, keep the chest lifted, twisting a little bit more. And then come back to neutral and switch. So left hand now to right ankle. Lift up before you go anywhere, either with the arm straight or cactus arm. And start to twist out to the right. You can bring the head along as well. Keep the belly in, lift the chest, shoulders down. Both shoulders back. And then slowly come back to neutral. Bring your hands underneath your knees. Close your legs, and we will come and get ready for Shavasana. Says very ungracefully getting down from the block. Put on any socks or jumpers if you need to. I'm boiling, it's probably hot where you are as well. Soles of the feet flat on the floor. Lower yourself down and just take a moment to rest here with the feet flat on the floor. Feel the weight of the pelvis. Allow the body to settle in this new orientation. And then we're going to push the elbows into the floor, lift the chest, and draw the shoulder blades strongly down underneath the heart to open across the chest. Then push down into the feet, lift up your hips a little bit, and lengthen your lower back down towards your feet. Lift your head, draw the chin in, lengthen the back of the neck, and release the head back down. Bring the hands, palms face up on the floor by the sides of the body. If you move them a little bit away, if you've got space, be a little bit more relaxing in the shoulders. And then finally, allow the legs to come long. Extend the heels away before you relax the legs out to the side. Make any final adjustments so that you can be comfortable for the next few minutes as we rest in Shavasana. And bring your awareness down into your toes. Perhaps seeing if you can feel each toe in turn, starting with the big toes, second toes, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Perhaps there's very little awareness there, but just noticing what you can or can't notice specifically. And then bring your awareness into the soles of the feet and into the tops of the feet and the ankles. And bring the awareness into the shins and the calves, into the knees and the thighs, noticing if there's any areas where you're still holding, and seeing if you can let go on an exhale. And bringing the awareness into the pelvis, feeling the weight of the pelvis on the floor, perhaps noticing if it feels like there's more weight on one side or the other. And then bringing the awareness up through the torso, the lower back, middle back, and upper back, and the abdomen, navel, and chest. Then into the shoulders, the upper arms, elbows, the forearms, wrists, and hands. Again, each of the digits in turn, so bringing the awareness into your thumbs, into the first finger, middle finger, the ring finger, and the little finger. Perhaps a little bit easier to isolate the awareness in the fingers. And then bringing the awareness up into the neck and the head, and relaxing all the muscles of the face, the jaw, tongue, lower lip, upper lip, nose and cheeks, the eyes, eyelids, eyebrows, and forehead. Allowing everything to soften, release, allowing the floor to support you. And just noticing the gentle movement of the breath as you inhale, the belly rises. And as you exhale, the belly falls. If you want to stay in Shavasana, then please do so. But if you're ready to move, you can gently start to bring the breath back to a fuller level. So taking a couple of deeper breaths down into the belly. And then very intentionally starting to move the toes, noticing what that feels like, moving the fingers, and gradually allowing that movement to spread into the rest of the body, into the ankles, the legs, the arms. And stretch the arms overhead if you like, full body stretch. And then making your way back to a seated position. And find your seated position one last time. We close the practice together. So sitting however's comfortable for you, belly in, chest lifted. Either rest your hands on your thighs or bring them to the sternum in prayer position. Bow the chin towards your chest. Notice how you feel. And then raise your head and open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, as usual, if you need to go, that's cool. If you want to say hello, that's also very nice for me. So, if you wish.
Hi, Jeff.
Oh, hello, foxes. Orange foxes.
Wait. Milo's doing look at this new buzz cut he's had today.
That is Sean, Milo. I don't think I've ever seen it that short.
Imagine my shock. Hey, Patrick. That's what happens when it gets sunny in England. Thank you, Jem. That was amazing.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
You're tough.
Did that make sense? What I was talking about with the twisting?
Yeah,
I chose a bit of a bad point to talk about it when we were like halfway into a posture, but just to explain that a little bit more, so often in yoga when you go into a twist, they'll tell you to fix the pelvis and then rank yourself around, rank, not a word, or wrench yourself around, and especially for women that can be really bad, SI joint destabilization. So that what I was trying to explain is that bottom of the spine, sorry, if anyone just needs to go, you can go. I'm just going to talk about
what's an SI joint.
So the SI joint is the sacroiliac joint. So the sacrum, which is the bottom of the spine, ends in a kind of V, and that goes into the top of the pelvis. So you've got this is the pelvis, this is the bottom of the spine. So that the sacroiliac joint, it is a joint, it has a very tiny bit of movement. It's called nutation and counter nutation. So when you bend forwards and backwards, there's a little, a millimeter movement forwards and backwards. So if you imagine, if you twist really strongly to one side and you're trying to twist your lower back, that is that joint does not want to do that. It really doesn't want to do that. And basically women especially, and this is a common yoga injury, can wrench that, and then you get SI joint pain, which is just horrible localized pain around the SI joint. I've had it, you can tell. The way that I'm talking about it, and basically once it's happened, it's quite difficult to get rid of, and it's like liable to happen again. And basically a lot comes from this thing of like this really unnatural, like I'm just gonna like try and like twist my spine off. So like actually when we're practicing twists, you don't want a whole lot of movement in the lower back. If you look at the spine, like the lumbar spine is mainly meant to move forwards and backwards, and the thoracic spine, the vertebrae kind of like go over each other like this, so you don't have much forwards and backwards movement in the thoracic spine, but you do have side to side movement. So like that's like what that it's designed for, you know, like in as much as stuff that was evolved is designed. So you know, and although you do want a bit of mobility in other directions, you obviously want to be able to like twist a little bit in the lower back, and you want to be able to bend and flex in the upper back, actually like kind of respecting or like working with the existing functionality of the body is generally a sensible thing. And this is why I never teach binds, and I think they're just horrible. So, you know, like the postures where you like sort of like wrap your hand around yourself and like use that to like pull. So it kind of goes back to like what I was talking about with the hip thing and like passive and active range. So in the twist, can you find your active range where you're using your muscles to find the twist, rather than like what, like, you know, fixing something and using that sort of like extra support to get yourself further. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Small little nugget geek anatomy thing.
Great.
Anyway.
Thank you.